And welcome, race fans, to another exciting MMS money race. And we are back at Talladega Super Speedway. But tonight we are in the 87s. It's going to be a nice cloudy day out here again tonight. 70 degrees out with a 72-degree track temperature, a little 2-mile-per-hour wind, and a 20% precipitation. Kevin, how we doing today?
Good. How you doing, Luke?
You know, I'm doing incredible, Kevin. Had a little bit of a celebration after that Super Bowl last night. I know you did as well. But I, for one, am very, very excited for this 87 race tonight. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm excited too, and I'm sure the McCullough had a little bit of a celebration last night too after taking the checkered at Talladega. It was a good race last night, and let's hope to have another good two races tonight as we're gonna do the 87s and then Xfinity.
Indeed, indeed. I am very excited. Taking a look at our grid here. Casey Sprinkle leading us off here, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a good qualifying. 46-4-10. We got Flanagan up there, we got Cassinger. It's gonna be a good one. As they're just getting ready to grid up, they're getting out there. We're starting to see these schemes for the first time. They're looking good.
I know there was a couple of them that caught my eye during the qualifying earlier. Any of them that really stood out to you?
Yeah, the 12 car, obviously, the Playboy scheme, but we'll get into that after we go and introduce the grid to you. And on the front row with the pole, we have Casey Sprinkle and David Flanagan. Followed by the second row is going to be Tanner Cassinger and Jack Long the third. Third row, we're going to have Eberhardt and Vondell. Fourth row, we're going to have Wingo and Raleigh. Fifth row, we're going to see John Ward, followed by Dylan C. Jones. Then we're going to have in the 11 and the 12, both of the McCulloughs, and that's going to be your front 12.
And currently getting a little reading here. Derek Rayleigh into a crash here, leaving the pits, starting us off here. That's not what you like to see here. I know these cars are hard to control, but boy, you hate to see it this early.
Yeah, I think it was just a little bit of a bumper car situation that we see oh so often in this iRacing, coming out of the pits a little excited. You don't want to go a whole lap around this track at 60 miles per hour. You want to get out there fast and, do your thing. And I would like to point out, after the McCulloughs, we have Scott McLean, Douglas Camp, and Sean Corbett in this one. So that's going to be an exciting one.
Rounding off this grid here. Getting ready to come out of turn 4. Any big schemes out here really popping to you tonight, Kevin?
Yeah, out of that front four, I saw the 12 of the Playboy, but I do like that Cookie Monster car.
Very nice one out there. I'm a big fan of that 7-Up one as well, in the 71 there. That's Derek Rayleigh. And the pace car is in here.
Car. Pace car comes in, and we're going to be going green this time led by the number 5 of Casey Sprinkle. Here we go. As they go across the tri-oval, we're going to be going green any second now.
And there's the Geico start-finish, and we have a green flag. And off they go.
And the flag is out, and they are moving up the gears. Casey Sprinkle takes off. They cross the start-finish, and he's going to be in front 2x2 all the way through. No one's doing anything stupid this early, as they're just getting a feel for these cars on the first lap of 30. We got 30 laps tonight at Talladega.
And boy, oh boy, you have to wonder, these cars are very, very fast. Going over 200 miles an hour down this back straightaway here. Let's just go and get a look here at how fast these guys are moving. 207, almost up to 210 down the back straightaway going into turn 3, sorry. Holy cow, these cars are very fast.
Yeah, and as far as qualifying goes, back in 1987, Bill Elliott held the record here at Talladega for the fastest qualifying at a 2:12. So that just goes to show how fast these cars really can get. And that's without any draft. It's clean through the first lap. As we, we shift around a little bit. The 5 car drops back to second, stays on the inside line. But all in all, keeping it clean, keeping it steady. 12 car in P4, that's going to be the Playboy car of Tanner Kassinger. We're seeing a little bit of a drop off here by, what is that, 71 maybe? Budweiser car. As Casey Sprinkle takes the lead again. Now they're making it three wide racing that inside line a little back and forth, not giving too much room to the inside and the outside. Casey Sprinkle is going to get stuck on the far inside a little bit, as they're not really holding any lines. They're holding their own lines, I guess. As the 3 and 12 now linked up, that's going to be McCullough and Kassinger. They're going to follow each other around.
Speaking of schemes, that number 3, Joshua McCullough and the Dale Earnhardt scheme, that might take the cake as my favorite out here tonight, Kevin. I don't know. It's a close one between that 12, that Playboy bunny, and the Dale Earnhardt car.
Yeah, and another fun fact, 1987 was the year that Dale Earnhardt did win his 3rd championship, and it was his best year by count of overall wins. He came in with 11 wins that season. Got the Winston Cup. What a season for him.
And you'd love to see that scheme being represented again.
I don't have to sit here and tell you how good Dale Earnhardt is, but... Speaking of the Harts, how about Daniel Eberhardt moving to the lead here as he goes up high? That high line seems to be the preferred line.
Gonna get a run.
Casey on the inside. We do have a few cars out of this one. It's going to be the 45 of Corbett, the 408 of Camp, and the 92 of John Ward. Maybe we have some race control, maybe a little miscommunication, someone couldn't make it. So it's going to take a few out of the mix. Top 5 getting payouts here in this one. As we are moving on to lap 5 of 30, these cars are moving fast. And, you know, it's going to be a fast 30 laps. I can't imagine this one will last all night. What do you think, Luke?
You know, you gotta wonder, though, the cautions. With these cars moving as fast as they are, it gets very dangerous. And I think I just saw the Skull car there hit the wall.
Vondel going to the wall a little bit, and he is fading fast. He's back to P8. He started P7, so, you know, all this hard-earned progress in these first 4 or so laps. Just hope he doesn't have any damage. As the leader out here is still the number 90 of Daniel Eberhardt III, followed by Tanner Kassinger, and I think that's what the maybe 71 a Rally up there in the mix.
Rally really getting a run up there in that 71 7-up car. Ooh, a little bit of contact there between the 90 and the 58. It's going to be Scott McLean and Daniel Eberhardt. Daniel Eberhardt going to fade off here. He's going to drop way back to the back of that pack. He wants nothing to do with that contact with that 58 car.
Yeah, and it's really just a smart move. Nothing to worry about having to drop to the tail end of this one. You know, these cars move so fast. It's just, you know, if you drop to the back, you drop to the back. You can make it up. It's better than putting your car in jeopardy of, you know, maybe getting too far out of this one. As he's already made up about 2 spots on the 14 and the 59. That's going to be Vondel and Dylan C. Jones.
You know, even at a track like Talladega, in these cars, you still have to be kind of easy going into these turns throttle-wise. Especially later on into this race when the tire wear starts to become a factor. You can really start slipping in these cars.
Yeah, we see a little bit more wall contact of the 59 of Vondel, but seems even if they get up into the wall a little bit, they're able to keep it sorted, keep it damageless, and keep themselves in this race. We're about 2 by 2 right now. They've got us settled in a pretty well amount compared to what we saw the first couple laps. Maybe a couple lines we're seeing now, as opposed to just the sporadic, you know, drive wherever you want to. The 71 of Raleigh, though, looking dominant in this one. Who do you have, Luke? Who do you think's going to win this one here at Talladega?
You know, it really, really is tough to say. We got some names out here that we have seen in the past, such as the McCulloughs. You know, they had a very, very good run last night. John Ward, I know seems like something happened there. We don't have him in here, but another name we remember.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but a little bit of contact for Casey Sprinkle as he goes into the wall. Pretty hard as he drops back to 6th, but he's all right. But yeah, I agree, as you were saying, you know, McCulloughs are always the name to look for in these races.
Yeah, we also got some new names up here that at least I'm not used to seeing here. Scott McLean staying up here in that top pack. Tanner Cassinger in that number 12 Playboy Bunny. You know that's who I've been rooting for since even before this race.
Yeah, it is a nice looking car. As we go. Ooh, and a little bit of contact, and he comes down at a sprinkle.
Oh, and then the wall!
He's into the wall, and we have a wreck and a caution, and this is collecting about half the field. We see the 5 of Sprinkle gets through, a couple people ahead got through. It's going to look like the 3 got through, that's one of the McCulloughs. The 71, I think, is through, that's Rally. But wow, that one just, it started with a little bit of contact into the wall, and it was an accordion of just, a little bit of contact here, a little bit of contact there, and they collected, and I think a few of them went backwards as we're going to take a look at the replay. Yeah, the 59 gets into the 12.
Hooks the 12, and it just leads to more.
And the 124, the 124 of Jack Long tries
Sorry to cut you off here. Mark Vondell hits the wall here.
Oh, not a good look for him.
It looks like we're seeing some damage here on the front end.
Oh, and there's a and a car upside down, and Vondell hits him. And
it's gonna be Daniel Eberhardt.
I think he's trying to get his buddy back on his front four, so we're not going to need to see a tow truck out here, but it is not looking good for the two of them. I would like to remind the viewers that we do have one fast repair for each of these drivers, so these drivers are not by any means out of this race, especially with us seeing a caution, but it's definitely a good look for the cars that were able to clear it. Let's take a look at our current leaders, see who was able to stay up there, stay out of trouble. Yeah, and it's, going to look like the 58 of Scott McLean is going to stay out of it for the most part, as he's going to, tail the pace car. He's in the lead. We have the 71 of Derek Rowley, Casey Sprinkle. They all stayed out of it, but they're pitting regardless, so they're going to have their fast repair still in their back pocket, unlike some of these guys that got into it. But I think everyone's going to stay on the lead lap out here with the caution plus pits.
Man, oh man, a lot of contact back there. I don't know about you, Kevin, but I did expect it to happen. With these cars going so fast, just the slightest bit of off-put movement here can really result in a catastrophic wreck, as we saw just a moment ago.
I think the thing to watch is the race off of pit road. Whoever gets out there first gets to take the lead coming to the restart, and that's a great thing to have. Less you have to worry about if you can see nothing but clear skies in front of you. I know that front row feels very confident in these 87 cars off the restart. And the race off of pit road is going to be won by, I think it's, Derek Rowley. And followed by McLean, Long, Flanagan, and I was going to say Sprinkle, but taking a little more time than I would have expected to get out there in that 5th spot. And it's going to be Wingo who gets out in front of him. But you know what, that doesn't expect me. I would assume, since we're under caution, Casey Sprinkle took his, not his fast repair, but just an actual repair here. He's gonna be starting from near the back, but he's gonna be starting with a fresh car, and he's still gonna have that fast repair in his back pocket. But our starters are once again gonna be Rowley, McLean, Long, Flanagan, and Wingo once we come to the green flag, which is gonna be, I think, 2 more to go.
With 20 laps to go here in this race, the question really does become, when are you going to make that second pit here? You going to stay out long and try to stretch out that fuel gap as long as you can, or do you take the early pit and maybe try to squeeze even a third one in there?
Yeah, and I'm new to these 87s. I'm not sure what the window is. I think they're on 50% fuel, but I'm not sure if they're going to need another. I would assume it's about a 15 lap tank, but I'm not positive, so we're just going to have to learn that one together, As far as the first pit goes, though, it was clean because it was under caution. I do like seeing the green flag pits. It does shake things up tremendously. A little bit of different strategies, but I think the strategy this time by was everybody get into the pits, everybody refuel, reset, as we go green with still over 60% of this race to go.
Seems to be a little bit of drag racing with the pace car here.
A little bit of saying hi to the pace car driver, maybe telling him he's number 1. And how about another fun fact about the 1987 season? Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt were both fined $10,000 for aggressive driving. Do you think any of these drivers are worthy of a fine for being a little too aggressive out there, Luke?
It's a little tough to say. I don't think we've seen any real intentional wrecking out here as of recent. It's all been pretty incidental or accidental with these
Yeah,
wrecks
no
as of
rubbing
late.
racing.
So
The only rubbing
honestly,
racing I think we've
not
seen
yet.
so far has been with that outside wall. That's been the issue for a lot of these drivers. I know Vondell, Casey Sprinkle, a couple of them were doing a little rubbing with the wall, getting a little bit loose. It's easy to do when you're going 220 miles an hour. How are they going to make that not be an issue in the second half of this race?
Like I said earlier in this race, it's all about throttle discipline, especially in these cars. I know I was lucky enough to get the chance to take some of these out and back in the Draft Masters a couple months ago. And boy, if you do not let off these turns going in, especially like I was saying late into these tire wears, it can cause a lot of slippage. And going into these turns, if you don't let off quick enough, you can really collide with that top wall and have quite the rebound force that can take out multiple cars behind you and lead to a caution, as we just saw.
Yeah, and one more question for you before we get ready for the green flag. You gotta wonder, are any of these cars gonna stay back a little bit? It wouldn't be surprising at all to see another caution. And with about half these cars no longer having that fast repair option, will we see anybody playing a little overcautious here?
You have to wonder, especially after seeing that early caution. Gotta maybe worry some of the other drivers out here, maybe incentivize them to stay back and play it a little safe here. I think we might see a little bit of that, honestly. But it's a little
Yeah,
tough
and
to
here
say
we
here.
go. Pace car is in, so we're going to be going green here right as they cross that Geico restart zone, get to the flag, and we're going to have about 18 laps to go of, pure 1987 NASCAR racing. And here we go. They're moving up through the gears, 71 in the lead. That is Rally. The inside line looking more than dominant as the number 58 of McLean is dropping back to third place. David Flanagan, we haven't been talking about too much, is going to move into the second place. As we have a little bit of a score bug error where it says he's in the 23 car. I think he's actually in that 11 car, so we're going to have to get that sorted out. But he goes to the super high line, and that's not going to do him any favors as that inside line's looking fast. And Casey Sprinkle, who took that fast repair, took a little extra long pit. It's not going to bother him as he's going to shoot to the front here with 18 to go.
Speaking of names catching up to the front here, Kenny McCullough Jr. in second place here. One of the big names from last night's race. I know the McCulloughs had quite the eventful night last night.
Who's in third?
Sit in third. That's going to be Joshua McCullough. That's going to be both of them.
Yep, that it is. And, they can't really draft together like they did last night. It's a little bit of a different setup, I mean, draft obviously is a factor, but it's a little harder to get a two-man line going with all these cars shooting around on multiple different lines. That's going to be an awkward push that I think the 16 maybe is going to give the 71's going to give the 3, but they're going to sort it out. The 3's going to go to the front. And how about the onboard of Tanner Kassinger? He's going 212, 213 miles an hour. Just back far enough. He's confident that he could get around a wreck if it's in the very front, but he is throttled down right now as our speedometer is all over the place. Not sure what to think as he throttles off into the turn. But yeah, it doesn't feel like Talladega in these cars.
A little bit of contact from the 14 in front of him. That's going to be Daniel Jones or Dylan Jones.
Right in front of him. Front row seat for Tanner Kassinger. I'm sure that scared him a little bit, but they sorted it out very easily. Like I said, that outside wall's scary, but it's not doing too much damage. And these fans are on their feet as we come to 15 to go this time by. How about McCullough? He's out there leading laps, but a huge run for the 90.
Actually, that 90 is going to be back in 11th place. Sorry, he's almost a lap down. Daniel Eberhardt.
Oh, wow. I didn't even catch that. That must have been Oh, that was the car upside down. That's my apologies. We did see him have a little bit of troubles, him and Vondell, so not what you want to see out of him. I don't know. I was told there was a fast repair, but I might be mistaken. These drivers might not have a fast repair because I would have imagined if they did, he would have surely used it, but he might
Yeah,
have
looking here, they
been
did have a
upside.
faster pair. It seems they do have a
Yeah,
faster pair out
he
here
might
tonight.
have been upside down for so long that by the time he got into the pits, he was already a lap down. So just unfortunate for him. Yeah, same thing goes for Vondell. He's got the same issue,
Ooh,
just
contact from
not
the
with the
71
save.
back there with the wall. It's going to be Daniel Rayleigh. And he's going to be spinning out here.
Oh, and a little spin out, and we're gonna get a caution as most cars seem to get around him.
He's still
And he
spinning.
is giving the fans a show with this one. I
Ooh,
mean, getting every bit of the tires on that one. And that's going to be our second caution of the race with 14 to go. And it is going to be not a huge incident. Most cars get around it, but unfortunate for the 71.
take a look back there to the events that led up to that one. It's like I was saying earlier, taking the exit a little too fast, gets contact with that outside wall, and that momentum coming off that outside. Actually, it looks like that, what was that, the number 14 or 24? I can't tell, got contact with him there a little bit.
Yeah, that's going to be the 14 of Dylan C. Jones. Hopefully he doesn't have too much damage. I think the 71 would have been able to keep it straight if it wasn't for the contact, but you can't really blame the 14 there, as it was about a... He probably took off a good 20, 30 miles per hour to, sort himself out, and, the 14 just didn't have much room to get around him. So hopefully he doesn't have too much damage. Hopefully the 71 doesn't have too much. I think he might still have his fast repair, if I'm correct.
Oh,
As we do read a pit from Mark
sorry to cut
Vondell,
you off
much
here, but Michael
Zucker.
Wingo crashing out here as he gets loose.
I'm not sure what to
Ooh,
expect from that one. Maybe
the 14 narrowly misses that one.
maybe the only explanation for that one was a wave around or something. Not sure why he's going those speeds when everyone's going about 60. But he does seem to keep it out of the outside wall, so he might lose some spots. But I think overall he's going to be fine with that. And it does seem like most of these cars are staying out. I think the pits are open. Or no, here they are. They're open now, and people are coming in. So it's going to be a race in and off of pit road here for the leaders, as this is going to be our last pit of the race.
We got a few cars staying out here.
Yeah, a few cars just trying everything they can to get themselves back in the mix, I'm sure. Vondell and the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt are going to try to mix something up, try to get back on that lead lap. I wouldn't be surprised to see these drivers get back on the lead lap purely because I don't think we're seeing the last caution of this one. It is a top 5 payout. A lot of these drivers still in it. I want to say about 10 of them still on that lead lap, still looking for the front. But as far as the pits go,
Seems
we're
pretty
gonna
clean
see.
leaving here.
Yeah, as far as that goes, we're gonna see Flanagan win off of it, and then McLean coming out about 15 seconds after. I think a little bit of different strategy. But with Cassinger, Long, and Wingo staying out here, it's going to mix up the leaders for this restart. It's going to be Long, Cassinger, Wingo, Flanagan, then Scott McLean. He's had a little bit of... Oh, never mind. Which car is that we're looking at right there?
It's going to be the P1, Jack Long. Seems to be missing his front bumper here.
There for a second, I thought that was the pace car with the iRacing scheme. I was like, what are we looking at here? But that's going to be our current leader, probably just hoping for a quick caution here from the next few laps. He can get in, he can get fixed up a little bit, come back out and still be on the lead lap. Him, Cassinger, and Wingo all hoping for a caution here. Flanagan maybe, I'm not sure exactly what strategy he's on. He came out of the pits pretty fast, but the rest of the guys up front, including the 58 of McLean, hoping for just that, a clean finish.
Actually, that's going to be the car that had contact with Wingo earlier. Just looking back at that replay, it's going to be Jack Long. He was the one that gave Wingo a little bit of contact back there and led to that yellow flag.
Yeah, and as far as the pitters go, I would like to point out our biggest mover of the night is Scott McLean. He's in P5 right now. If they were to stay green, he would be cycled to about P2. He started in 12th place, so that's an impressive showing so far from him.
Just goes to show how fast these cars really are. I mean, we almost saw on that dash about 212 miles an hour before going into those turns. Just absolutely ridiculous. Small room
we're
for
going to go
error
around,
here.
I think, one more time. And this time by, it's going to be the green. We got about 10 laps to go off the green. it's going to be a shootout, Luke. You still looking at the McCullows, or you thinking maybe, Flanagan, McLean, those type of guys?
You know, it's tough to
Looking good.
say. Half my money's over here on the McCullows, but, I got to kind of stay true here to Tanner Cassinger in that number 12 Playboy Bunny car. It's tough to say.
Yeah, I know you like that scheme. And as we restart, we're going to take a look at our restart positions. Like we've been talking about, the front's going to be, Long, Cassinger, and um, Flanagan. I do think Wingo fell off a little bit. Yeah, there he is in
right there.
P4. But after that, I'm pretty sure we have McLean, and then everything else.
Casey Sprinkle, followed by both the McCullows, Ray Lee, Dylan Jones, and Eberhardt.
Yeah, just about what you expect. About how they went into the pits, they came out of them. I know all these drivers are experienced enough to give themselves a good shot out of the pits. That's about half these races, as Cody Nagel said the other night. It's just, getting into the pits clean and getting out of the pits clean here at Talladega.
As we approach 10 laps to go here, you gotta wonder, what are these drivers' plans going to be going into these final couple laps of this race here? I do wonder what the 125 of Jack Long is going to do regarding that front bumper. Yet to see if it's going to affect his aero as we go green here.
Yeah, and it's not exactly a pretty sight, but we're going to see what he can make happen as the pace car drives into the pits. And we are about to go green this time by with 10 to go.
Green, green, green.
And we are green now. It's a good launch for Long, but he just has no speed. I mean, he is dead in the water as they're just going to pass him immediately. I think his job here is to just stay on that lead lap. And the lead is now going to be taken by the 12 car, followed by Casey Sprinkle. And it's a little bit of trouble getting around him for the 03 of McCullough. But the 12 car of, I think that's Cassinger. Yeah, Tanner Cassinger just going to take a good lead. As the 11 car of David Flanagan is going to take the outside. They're going to be about side by side. And some awkward bumping happening, as we've seen all race. I think the issues in this one are the awkward bumping combined with the trying to keep it off the wall, trying to keep it off the throttle there in the turn exits. Just, making too much happen at once, and a little bit of a jump to the outside for David Flanagan as he stays in our lead. And we're going to go on board here with Casey Sprinkle as he is pushing 222 miles an hour going into the turn. Man, these cars are fast. Casey Sprinkle on a good run. That inside line does look fast. Peeking his head a little on the inside. I think they're a little scared to give bumps in these cars, which I don't blame them one bit. These cars aren't exactly made for bump drafting, but impressive for the number 3 car of Kenneth McCullough to stay up there in the pack with this much strength on the inside line. We're now 8 to go. Flanagan's your leader, and Casey Sprinkle takes a look to the super inside. He's going to pinch up Cassinger a little bit. Cassinger goes a little bit high.
Yellow flag is out.
Must have been in the back. The top 6 or 7 seem to be clear of it, but let's take a look at what happened here.
It's going to be Jack Long, upside down and off the track.
Oh, not what he needed. He tried to, stay out on some strategy. His car was looking bad.
Listen, that front
he got
bumper.
Pinched a little.
Too much speed
He
going into that
a
turn.
little high, got into that wall again, and just takes air on the slightest bit of contact. At these speeds, I mean, holy cow, that is impressive. As Jack Long goes for a ride down the stretch.
As we take a look here.
Let's take a look at a cockpit of that if we can. Oh, and he just rides. That is not what Chastain meant when he said wall ride here, ladies and gentlemen.
He is just staring at the grass until he flips
He
upright.
does a
Fortunate
little
enough to
Rocket
flip,
League type
though.
move, tries to go up on the wall and get some speed, and it just doesn't work like that. That's going to be a unfortunate finish to the what number would
142
he
of
be?
Jack Long.
142, yeah.
As we cut back to our leaders here. Flanagan, Kenny McCullough, Casey Sprinkle, and Tanner Kassinger staying out here in your top 4.
Yeah, and I wouldn't imagine this is going to be a super long caution. You know, they want to get back out there. They don't want to make it a green-white checker just yet.
In the
They
cars
do
go to
come into
pit
the
road.
pits. Flanagan does stay out. He's going to be your first to stay out. The 71 of Rowley's going to stay out. McLean's going to stay out. We're going to see about 5 takers. Jones is staying out. McCullough does enter first, though. We have, I think, it's 4 on the lead lap staying out. The rest are in the pits. 5, maybe.
Yep, top 5. You'd be correct there, Kevin. Bit of an interesting change-up strategy here. One of the McCulloughs staying out. It's going to be Joshua McCullough, but Kenny McCullough going into the pits here. Bit of an interesting change-up here. I know we often see them going into the pits together. I know we saw that in the previous few races. You got to wonder, with 6 to go here, are they going to try to change things up here late into this race?
Yeah, and it just occurred to me that Josh is in the 3 car and Kenny's in the 03 car, so I've been confused thinking that's the same person all race. So that's my apologies. But as far as how this is going to cycle through goes, I personally think the benefit's going to be to those who pit, because with these cars getting worn down, with these cars getting, somewhere on their tires, I honestly can't sit here and tell you that I think it's going to stay green the rest of the way. I hope it will, but if it doesn't, I think those who pit here are going to be in the best position to win it. And you know what? If it does stay green, it is what it is, because they're still on that lead lap. They lost about 4 or 5 spots, but they got the fresher car. Anything can happen at this track as we're going nearly 225 miles an hour in these corners.
Casey
And,
Sprinkle winning the race off of pit road here as we cycle through.
Yeah, and that's real important. I don't know if they did a little touch and go, got some tires. I'm not quite positive what they did, but whatever it was, they did it quick, and they were able to get back out there in fashionable time. So, David Flanagan's going to take us here at the restart with 4 or 5 to go. And his car has looked fast all race, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him up there, at the minimum contention for a podium spot here tonight.
It seems like Flanagan is going to stay out, along with Rayleigh and McLean and Jones. A lot of these top cars, actually the top 5, all staying out here. Boy, is it going to get testy here with 5 to go.
Yeah, and how about this race for McLean? He started P12, like I mentioned earlier. He's still in the top 3. His cars looked good. He got in a little bit of trouble, I think, in that first wreck. Kept it, for the most part, clean. Got into the wall a little bit, I think. But overall, he's had a very clean race, a very good race. And he's given him a great chance at some money here tonight.
To confirm you there, Kevin, actually, Scott McLean was actually the car that caused the flippage back there on, I can't remember, was that Daniel Eberhardt?
I see.
Right, or who was that? I'm trying to remember who that was.
That was the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt flipped back over by the 59 of Mark Vondel.
Boy, oh boy. Some wild stuff happening here in the 87s as we approach 4 to go in this race at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, and I still think there's a good chunk of 7 or 8 cars that I would not feel too bad about putting my money on to win this thing. I think it's anybody's race still here in the 87s. Anything can happen. These people are really going to start, racing, not driving here with 5 to go. You got to move. Now's the chance. And I think it's going to be a not only chaotic, but a very, very exciting finish here tonight.
And it appears the 124 back there, Jack Long, still missing that front bumper. You gotta wonder, did he even take the repair there? I know I saw him go into the pits.
Yeah, he might have used that fast repair early, and he might just, he's gonna be behind pace, just try to weather the storm and get a finish on the on the books. But this time by the pace car is coming in as we see, and we are going to go green with about 4 to go. And it's going to be a fun 4 as David Flanagan's going to take the lead here with Rally to follow, McLean, Jones, McCullough, many more. I think the car to watch here is the 3 and the 5 of Casey Sprinkle and Kenny McCullough. As they're on that third line, they've been able to make things happen, get up a couple spots. As we are green, David Flanagan with a good jump. He's got some good speed and some pushing, and 71 up into the wall. And I think it's just going to be him who collects. Unfortunate for the 71. Not what you want to see for him, but we're going to stay green here with just 4 to go. He's going to spin it back around.
Derek Rayleigh.
And I'm sure he's not thrilled with that finish. Derek Rayleigh.
Let's take a look at what happened there off the restart. A little bit of a bump off the restart, and he just gets loose there. That's going to be by Dylan Jones.
Keeping it a one-car wreck, and we are still green here. As David Flanagan leads through the turns. McLean to follow. Casey Sprinkle now up in the top 2. As he's on that inside line giving good pushes to Flanagan. And how about the 12 car of Cassinger making it work on the high line all by himself? As we are approaching 3 to go, we have a good one. And now the 03 of McCullough drops into the bottom, or the top 4. He's another car to pay attention to. The bottom line is working right now. 3 to go. It is mixed up a little bit. David Flanagan still leads. Casey Sprinkle follows as he's gaining on the outside line. He's going to take the new lead, followed by Flanagan, followed by both the McCulloughs. This is deja vu of last night. But how about Jones? Dylan C. Jones, who we haven't been talking about as much this race. He's made a good run in these past few laps. Casey Sprinkle, though, in the lead. With 3 to go here, he's on the outside line. David Flanagan staying true to his inside line, which he's ran most of these laps on. And we get a caution. Or, no, we do not. I'm sorry, that was a
little error on the
technical error. As we are 2 to go. Casey Sprinkle leads. Flanagan pushes. Sprinkle dropped to the bottom. We're 3 wide on the third car back, though. It's going to be the 12 to 3. And the, I don't know, I want to say the 14 of Dylan C. Jones. As Casey Sprinkle in this lead. The 03, though, of Kenny McCullough is going to go up to that second line and try to get some speed there. Dylan C. Jones, yeah, he got a little pinched up. He's going to fall back a little. Still in contention, though, as he gets loose there. A little scary between him and the 58 of Scott McLean, who's had a good run tonight. But let's go back to our leaders for these last couple laps, as we are 2 by 2 right now. Final lap, Casey Sprinkle leads. McCullough follows, then Flanagan, then the other McCullough, then Tanner Kassinger making positions. Casey Sprinkle on the inside looking for a win tonight. It's a good run on the inside line. They've got speed. They've got people. A good push by David Flanagan. McCullough, though, on the outside. Both of the McCulloughs on 1 and 2. And some wrecking behind. McCullough gets bumped. Casey Sprinkle on the inside line. Still looking good to take it to the line. It's going to be a side-by-side Casey Sprinkle, then David Flanagan and McCullough behind. Casey Sprinkle takes the inside. Casey Sprinkle throws half a block on the outside, and he's going to clear him, and they're wrecking, and he crosses the line in the lead.
He's up in the air!
Upside down. 03 gets second. That's going to be Kenny McCullough, followed by David Flanagan. Kassinger, Wingo, that's going to be your top 5 as a great win for Casey Sprinkle.
And wrecks all over following that last couple moments before crossing the finish line. What a finish. And
great couple laps at the end there by Casey Sprinkle. I mean, he really just pulled it together. He was throwing blocks, but he was throwing respectful blocks as McCullough and Flanagan just couldn't find their way around him. But they're all going to get their top 3. The top 5 is going to be Kassinger and Wingo to follow. They're all going to get in the money, and that's going to be a great finish for all of them. And he does a little...
it's a little airborne there.
Get a little style points on top of his win, as he's probably going to see if he can get a couple donuts out of this heavily damaged car. And your unofficial results are going to be Casey Sprinkle with the win, followed by Kenneth McCullough on podium, as well as David Flanagan. In your 4th and 5th place getting some money is going to be Tanner Kassinger and Michael Wingo, followed by Dylan C. Jones just on the outskirts. Joshua McCullough had a great run, followed by Scott McLean, also had a great run. Then we're going to have Jack Long, Derek Rowley, unfortunate at the end, Eberhardt, Vondell, John Ward, and I'm pretty sure the rest did not start the race. So that's going to be your unofficial results here at Talladega for the first of the 2 races tonight. What do you think, Luke? How did you like that finish?
Boy, oh boy. You know me, Kevin. I'm one for exciting finishes, and boy, we had a good one out here tonight. I'm a big fan of these 87 cars, and I hope we can watch these things again. I'm always a fan of watching these cars, especially at these big tracks like Talladega, getting up to almost 226 miles an hour going into these turns. You love to see these wrecks, but at the same time, you got to be concerned with the driver's safety. As old as these cars are,
Yeah.
it's going to be nice to see the change over to the Xfinities here as we switch over to our next race a little bit.
Yeah, and I was not disappointed. I knew this was going to be a good race. I knew this was going to be a competitive race. Anybody can be in it till the last lap. But what a finish for Sprinkle. What a finish for, a lot of drivers that we weren't talking about as much. Michael Wingo comes in at a top 5 finish. A little bit of strategy helps him out.
Despite
But
missing
the
that
rest,
front bumper, still getting it done, getting him a top 5 there, still staying in that payout bracket.
yeah, and I think that was Jack Long with the missing front bumper, but Wingo definitely had some damage after that first wreck or so. As we're going to get onto some post-race interviews here in a minute. Let the drivers, collect, talk to their teams, see what happened with that race. But yeah, just a great race, and I couldn't be more excited for the Xfinity race here after this one. That's going to be kicking off here at, if I'm not mistaken, 10:10, so about 25 minutes.
Man, as we wait for our first interviewee here. Going into this Xfinity race tonight, Kevin, I know you have quite the experience in those Xfinity cars. Any change up despite the slower speeds here compared to the cars we just saw a moment ago?
Yeah, the name of the game is going to be it's going to be drafting. It was drafting in this one, but it's going to be a lot of bump drafting. It's going to be a lot of tight drafting. It's going to be a lot of team drafting in this next one. As we're going to I want to get with the top 3. I know Kenny's ready. I want to see if we can get Flanagan, but as far as the Xfinity goes, I'm really excited to see some team driving because here I feel like as though you might have tried, it was really, everyone's solo racing out there, and that is refreshing to see. I would love to see the 87s again in the future. That was a great race. I'm sure a lot of those drivers had fun out there.
Couldn't agree with you more, Kevin. As much as we love to broadcast those, don't see them that much for some reason. I know I'm a big fan of those cars. You hope to see those again here as we move
Yeah, and I
forward
think our
throughout this
first
year.
interviewee we're going to get in here is going to be Kenneth McCullough. Placed second in this one after a good finish, trying to get something going on that top line. Couldn't get by Casey Sprinkle, though. And I'm going to get him in here right now. Kenny McCullough, you read me?
Yes, sir. Got you.
Man, that was a good race, and it was a great finish. What did you think of how that transpired there at the end with Casey Sprinkle getting the win, but you right on his tail?
And that was a blast. I had my son there behind me, but he had older tires. I just could not get the help on that outside line like I needed. I just needed a car to stay close to me there. The top lane coming out of 4 in these cars always prevail. You just got to have some good help behind you.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like the issue tonight was some drivers getting up there into the wall on those exits, getting a little bit too much speed in the turns. How were you able to stay out of those problems and keep yourself in the mix?
You just got to know when to use that throttle and when not to use it. These races here usually go green. You got to save them tires. A lot of guys at the beginning was overdriving it. If they go green, you ain't got a chance if you don't save them tires for the end.
Yeah, I agree. And is there any shout outs you would like to give before we get rid of you?
Yeah, thank
Casey
y'all
here.
for doing the broadcast, and thank my teammates out there. Thank everybody for coming out.
All right, thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate it.
And now I'm going to get your race winner, Casey Sprinkle, in here. Talk us through how that finish went down. Casey, the guys in the booth, do you read me?
Yep, got you.
How about that finish? You opted to take the pit there with about 7 to go. You worked your way up from about 6th, 7th place. You got yourself to the front, and you just did not let anybody pass. How would you explain how that race ended?
Awesome. I mean, I loved every part of it. Whenever I on that final restart, I took the tires and then started about 6th, and the person leading the outside line missed a shift. I thought it messed me up bad. I figured I had damage, but it actually helped me. I got up to 3rd and then passed the 58, then passed the Flanagan, the leader, and then stayed up there the whole time after that.
Yeah, it was a great transfer, and I just talked to Kenny about a lot of drivers missing on those, those entrances and exits to the turn, getting up into that outside wall. How were you able to stay out of those problems? Stay away from the wrecks that happened because of that?
I did actually get involved in one of them. Michael Wingo earlier in the race, he went up into the wall. I tried everything I could to avoid him, but he came down into me. But main key was just lifting a lot. But towards the end, I was on the fresher tires, and I could actually keep it pinned. But most people underestimate the amount of steering that you have to put into it. So you could just put more wheel in. I put more wheel into it, and I think that's how it worked out. I think I did get into the wall like once the race, but first time I've ever actually done one of those without hitting the wall that much.
Yeah, and the name of the game seemed to be those fresh tires. Congratulations, Casey, on the win. Is there anybody you would like to shout out before we get rid of you?
Number one, my teammates in the race, Kenny McCullough, Josh McCullough, Mark Vondell, and David Flanagan for helping me with the win, pushing me up there to that win, and you guys for broadcasting, and again, Kenny for putting this on.
Once again, thank you, Casey, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, look, that's gonna about do it for the first race tonight, and I think we're actually going to stay live, but go back to the waiting screen for a good 15, 20, or yeah, about 15 minutes here before we get things rolling for the Xfinity race tonight. That's gonna kick off at about 10:10. So we're gonna keep the broadcast rolling, but me and Luke are gonna be back here in about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Ready to broadcast what we hope is another good race. What do you think, Luke?
It's going to be quite exciting. I know going into this intermission here, rolling through, it's not going to be the only thing I'm rolling. Going into this Xfinity race, I know this 87 race was quite a handful, and boy, I really hope to see these again in the future. I'm a big fan of broadcasting these. I'm really hoping to see the same level of entertainment and excitement out of these Xfinity cars as we transfer over here, and we'll see you all here in about 15, 20 minutes, quick little siesta, and we'll see you guys at the Xfinity track.
See you then.
Welcome back, race fans, to the second race of our two-part race series tonight, and it's going to be the R&R Racing Series, sponsored by
It's
MMS.
going to be MMS again.
MMS again, sorry, apologies. And we're going to be back at Talladega Super Speedway in the Xfinity Series this time. Going to be a little bit more team-oriented drafting tonight. It's going to be another 70 degrees out here, another cloudy day, 20% precipitation, pretty much the exact same conditions we saw in this first race in the 87s, and as sad as I am to see them go, Kevin, I am also pretty excited to see these Xfinity cars. And I believe we're going to be getting an interview here before this race, if I am correct here.
Yeah, we're going to get a pre-race interview. We're going to get Tanner Cassinger on the line. He had a good finish in the last race. We're going to see what he has to say about that finish, as well as how he can keep himself in the front in this next one. Hey, Tanner, guys in the booth, you read me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Hey, congratulations on that finish in the last one, a P4. You were able to keep yourself in the front. It was a good race. How can you carry that success into this race here at Xfinity?
That's a good question because they are two completely different cars. I really think my biggest thing in Xfinity is just not getting turned here.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task, especially with a lot of drivers in this one. Not as reckless, I want to say, maybe a little bit more team-oriented driving here with the Xfinity cars. Are you confident in your ability to say that there are going to be some people that you're going to, pit with, draft with, that sort of thing?
I mean, the plan is to stick with my teammate Jack Long here, but that doesn't always go as planned. Especially in these McCullough races, they seem to stay more green than any other money racing series on here.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen a couple, I think it was next-gen cars in the past few days that were 40 laps green. So it's really going to come down to, can you pit clean, can you stay clean, and can you keep yourself near the front for a good finish at the end? I would like to point out that you and Jack both had very good-looking schemes, matching schemes out there in practice and in qualifying.
Yes, sir.
So, good luck. Congratulations on the P4 in the last race, and good luck tonight in the Xfinity.
Hey, I just want to say congratulations to you guys, too. I mean, apparently I heard you guys are just getting started, and the broadcasts are absolutely phenomenal. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Hey, we appreciate it, man.
So yeah, good luck to you tonight. We'll be watching and we'll be rooting for y'all.
Thanks, and I appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
What a nice
And that
fella.
was Tanner. That was Tanner Cassinger. That's gonna be the I want to say the 12 car. That's what he was in the last series. So
333 tonight, it appears.
333. That's right. I did see that in practice. That's gonna be a good looking car between him and Jack. Hopefully they can stick together, give themselves some nice slingshots to the front. I know that's a little bit of a Talladega reference that my partner Luke might like.
You know, I genuinely have never seen the movie. I have no idea what you're talking about. Guilty as charged, Kevin. You know I'm a big fan of Talladega Nights. Actually, my place of work app plays one of the ending songs, and I pretty much get reminded of the movie every single day when I'm at my job apart from this.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Probably, I would say top 2 racing movies, and it's not 2. But as we continue, we're about to go to the grid here at Talladega for the Xfinity Series. And we got a strong one tonight. It's over 2,000 average I rating. It's going to be a lot of drivers that we saw in the last one. The McCulloughs, obviously. Tanner Cassinger, obviously. And then, I think we're going to see Wingo again. I think we're going to see Derek Rowley again. And Jack Long, who we saw, had a little unfortunate finish in the last race, if I'm not mistaken. But, no time like the present to bounce back. Who do you want to keep a lookout for in this second race?
It really is tough to say going into this one, Kevin, with so many big names. But one of them that really stands out to me is the number 6 car of Cody Niegels. The last few races we've seen from him, I mean, it's been just very, very competitive racing, just not giving almost anybody a chance here. But some other big names out here: Ron Morris Jr., Mark Vondell, Jack Long. I know that was the teammate of the man we just interviewed here a moment ago, Daniel Eberhard as well. We have quite a few familiar names from the previous race, but also some new ones out here. So it really is tough to say going into this one. In my opinion, it really could be anybody's race.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. It really is anybody's race. If we do stay green, I think the main thing that we're gonna have to look at, as Cody said a couple days ago, is who can get in and out of the pits the fastest, who's gonna stay the cleanest through their pits, who's gonna stay the cleanest through their strategies, who's gonna stay with their teammates as much as they can. And it's all about staying in that lead pack. Usually when we do these races, it's we're looking at 2 or 3 big packs that get separated from each other, and you really just want to do anything you can to put yourself in a position to find that front one, because that's how you're going to get money in these races. As we look at the qualifying results, we're going to get Cody Neagles on the pole. That's nothing surprising. And Sean Corbett up there, too. As we start gridding, that's a beautiful number 45 car. That's the number 45 of Sean Corbett. It's a good-looking car. Got the checkered flag mixing with some fire. And how about our grid for tonight? The front row is going to be led by Cody Neagles and Sean Corbett. Then our second row, we got Jared Haynes and Ron Morris Jr. Third row, we're going to see Hunter Hastings and Mark Vondell. Then we're going to see Jack Long and Tanner Kassinger. They were saying they wanted to stick together. And then on the fifth row, we're going to see Garrett Caswell and Derek Rowley. Sixth row, we got Michael Wingo and Dylan C. Jones, both returning drivers from the last race. And then after that, we are going to see Daniel Eberhardt and John Ward. Then we're going to get Joshua McCullough, Dawson Wise, Kenneth McCullough, and William Scott. I would like to point out that Kenneth is going to start out right behind Joshua. I know they like doing that. That is their ideal position, so we're going to see how that can shape out in this one. But we have a strong pack of 18 cars to start this one. I am excited. What about you, Luke?
Kevin, I gotta say, I was a little more excited for the 87s personally, but, I've always been a big fan of those ones, but going into this, I am also a really big fan of these Xfinity cars. A lot of room for drafting, a lot of very safe potential bump drafts as well, so you gotta wonder, are these cars gonna put a lot of that team driving here on display tonight? And I think it's really gonna shine with the cars here working together tonight. It's gonna really separate the teams from the single drivers, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's really day and night between the 87s and these cars. It feels like a completely different broadcast. It feels like a completely different atmosphere, as it's going to be a 2-pit night just like the 87s were, but it's going to be a lot more team-oriented. It's going to be a lot more packed together. It's going to be a lot more competitive, as opposed to just, the fast cars with a little bit of, letting off in the corners that the 87s provided us. I'm excited. I really am. I do think that we're going to see a really good race. And in the past 2 races we were with MMS, it was all clean racing. I'm not counting the 87s, I'm counting the next gens and the Xfinities. It was all clean, and the trucks. It was all clean racing. It was 80 laps, I want to say, of clean racing. We didn't get a single caution. So, you never really want to hope for wrecks, but I do kind of want to see a caution tonight. Luke, what about you?
As much as we like to be concerned for the safety of these drivers, I'm a big fan of seeing these cautions and the eventful scenes that do happen and unfold here at these big tracks like Talladega, getting up to those high speeds. Not quite as high as the 87 cars that we just saw a few moments ago, but still getting up there well above those speeds as your regular paddy wagon rolling down the freeway.
Yeah, and they are going to be moving fast, and they're going to be moving aggressively, as we have a pack of about 4 more cars than we saw last race, so that's 4 more cars you got to beat out to get in that money, which is going to be the top 5 tonight here at Talladega Superspeedway. And we are turning around turns 3 and 4 right now. The pace car is under the yellow. It's coming in. And we're going to see the jump by Cody Neagles as we go green this time by. And they're keeping their speed of about 65 right now as they're inching towards the restart zone. Some of these drivers want to take off early. I know they do. But it's all about your P's and Q's right now, just keeping it steady as we're 2x2 all the way through, as we are getting ready for 40 laps of straight racing here at Talladega Motor Speedway, and they are green. Cody Neagles gets a good jump. He keeps the lead here, followed by Sean Corbett, Jared Haynes, Ron Morris, and Hunter Hastings, as the inside line is looking to get some solid speed here. Cody Neagles keeps a lead. He's getting good pushes by the 4 of Jared Haynes, followed by the 45 of Sean Corbett. Sean Corbett actually on that outside line, I apologize. He's looking good. He's getting a little bit more speed as he moves back up to P2. About 0.03 back on the lead. And these cars are looking fast. They're looking tight. Once again, John Ward is out. I want to say he's race control on the night. That's twice now, so yeah, I would assume he's race control or maybe just a spectator slash spotter. But we have a 17 car mix, and they're all within 0.8 of a second of each other. So it is a tight pack as we finish our first lap. And Cody Neagle stays in the lead, followed by Haynes, Corbin, and Hastings. That inside line's looking fast, but a couple of them take that far outside. I don't know if it's intentional. I want to say they just got out of the mix, got a little mixed up with it, and they're going to fall to the back. That's going to be both the McCullows. I apologize, that's going to be Scott. But yeah, we got Cody Neagle's, been leading all the way through this one. First 2 laps, nothing surprising. Staying clean, staying safe out there, staying in mostly 2 lines. We maybe see a 3rd line forming out there with about 2 cars. But a little mix up on that 2nd line there. They got a little bit loose, got a little of an accordion going, but they sorted it out. And that top line shot out of a cannon. I didn't even see them coming as Wise goes to the lead. He's tonight's biggest mover, and it's not even close. From P16 to the lead. How about that, Luke?
Oh, man, and you'd love to see that 3rd line working out here with that team driving out in Talladega again. As I commented on earlier, the teams are really going to be on display tonight here, showing who can drive together, who can really work together to give your guys the push up to the front, and get yourself into that lead position. As we take a look here at all the car manufacturers, well within our top 10, we're looking at a good mix-up between the bunch. We got a couple Chevys in there, a couple Toyotas, and it seems like only one Ford within our top 10, but representing out here for the Ford, that's going to be Sean Corbett in that flame car, number 45 in that 2nd row, middle line right there, and seeing quite a lot of bumping going into that back straightaways.
Yeah, and you never really want to count out Dylan Jones and Mark Vondell, so I think your Fords are going to have a decent shot at this thing as we go 3 wide through these. A lot of cool schemes, Luke. I ask you this every single race, and I always will. What scheme is catching your eye?
It really is tough to say here, Kevin. A lot of them really catch my eye tonight, but one that's really standing out to me the most out here is going to be the number 5 of Hunter Hastings in that the Flex Seal, number 5.
Flex Seal with Phil Swift.
Gotta love the Phil Swift Flex Seal car on there. Always a fun one, But then another good one that stands out to me up there is Sean Corbett representing the Ford in that flame. Looks like a checkered flag pattern there as well.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful scheme.
And then quite the beautiful, some blue and I believe yellow camo over there to his right. It's going to be Jared Haynes in the number 4 Toyota.
Yeah, that's a good looking one as well. I can't lie. These Xfinity cars, they get creative. It's a beautiful car, and it's some beautiful schemes out here tonight. As we see Neagle still in the lead, but it is 3 wide now, and that top line's working. That top line, I feel like the top line always seems to work pretty well, but it's very risky. If there's a wreck, that top line, there's really nowhere to go. You just gotta give it the old days of thunder, close your eyes, and hold down on the gas and just hope you get through. Whereas the bottom, you have the whole infield to get out of the mix. But that top line, as I'm saying, high risk, high reward. Whereas, the bottom still seems to be dominating in this one. Has the numbers, has a lot of the more experienced drivers.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
They mix it up a little on that 2nd line.
Oh, and the accordion effect.
All the way to the back. The 18 car of Jones getting almost sideways, I want to say, but he hangs on to it. He stays in the draft. Very impressive by him as they all sort it out. That's that accordion effect I talk about so frequently, Stuff that happens up in the front always seems to affect the guys in the back the most. When you're drafting as tight as you are without a spotter, you never really know what's going to happen, what's coming at you. As Jared Haynes takes the lead here tonight now. He started P3, he's made his way up to the lead. That's that blue and yellow scheme. He drops back down in front of Cody Neagles. And how about, let's take a look at, towards the back, some of the drivers that we haven't talked about much tonight. The McCullows, never count them out. Vondell, never count him out. Wingo had a good outing for the most part in our last race, as well as Jones, Eberhardt. Some of those guys, gotta wonder, are they content with where they are right now? Because I personally would be. As long as you're not, too stacked up in a 3 wide mix, I feel like being the mid to back is the place to be with some wrecks possible in the near future.
Especially as they go 3 wide here. That 3rd line's going to start making a run here as they collect 3 cars now.
And they do have the 1 car of McCullough. I want to say that's Joshua.
You'd be correct there. That is Joshua in the number 1 Chevy.
And Cassinger,
Quite the move.
who we interviewed, moves up a good 3 or 4 spots there on that transfer. In the 333 car, I know it's a black and white car.
That's gonna be his teammate.
I don't see it right now.
That's going to be Tanner Cassinger, actually.
Yeah,
Tanner
and he's
Cassinger. Right behind Jack Long, his teammate. They're going to be sticking on that inside line, just on that 3rd and 4th row back. They're just looking to kind of stay out of the way, stay behind that main group, and probably just get through any possible yellow flags coming out here early.
Yeah, and whatever happens to him, I don't think he's going to go to bed tonight upset. He had a good run in the first race, got into the money, was able to represent him and his teammate with a good P4, I want to say, finish. So, obviously he's going to keep pushing, try to get 2 good finishes, but overall it's been a good night so far for him. And Jared Haynes still our leader with Cody Niegels following. Him and Wise flip-flop, flip-flop. How about Garrett Caswell, who's in the front now? We haven't been talking about him much. The 19 car of Caswell. He's made his way to the front from a starting position of
and
P9.
45! Looks like he lost engine power!
And the 45 gets, I don't know what happened, maybe a misshift. He collects a
Sean
couple
Corbett.
of them, and we're going to see our first caution. I don't think there's too much contact, as I think most of them can keep it off the wall, but we're going to take a look at this one. Oh, he might have gotten a bad bump from the camo car and just took him on the inside. We're going to go back a little bit more, and we're going to see how that one happened. Yeah, I think I might be right. I think we might see a little bit of a rough bump here. As we're on board with the guy who started it, Sean Corbett.
Oh!
Ooh, I'm not quite sure.
Looks like he hit a little bit of nothing there.
Let's take a look at the overhead view of that one. Go back a little bit and see. Man, I don't know. I'm excited to see this one because this isn't something you see much from this MMS.
Oh! It's like he just hit nothing there. Look at that.
Blow it.
What?
Yeah, I want to say it's a misshift. I do. Maybe going. I don't know. It doesn't really seem like a spot you'd be shifting in these Xfinity cars. But
It's tough to
yeah, he does
say
a little.
here.
He does a little pimp bounce, and it takes out a few cars on the inside line. As we should go back live and see who's going to be taking what pits and when. We do have one fast repair on each of these cars. As the pit entrance is going to open up this time by the 45 of
Jared
Corvette,
Haynes.
still in the lead lap. He's going to be getting into the pits. It's nice to see all these cars still rolling, though, Luke. It really is. You don't want anybody's race to end this early.
Nah, you really don't here. And Jared Haynes pushing through that little engagement back there and staying up in that lead position. A little bit
Yeah, I
of
want
look.
to say the... Go ahead.
Gonna go and take a look here at our manufacturers within our top 5 here. Still 2 Toyotas sitting up front, but the rest is going to be all of those Chevys. No Fords in the mix. It looks like they dropped back to their closest positions. It's going to be P13. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and Sean Corbett was that dominating looking forward up front, and unfortunate for him, but he does stay on that lead lap. We did see last race, I forget what car it was, but one of the cars did flip upside down, and they were fighting to get back on the lead lap the whole race, and that's just not what you want to see. You want to see everyone in at least contention, as we're going to see our first group of pits. We're going to see a couple fast repairs, I would assume, but everyone's going in. There's not a single car that didn't get the memo on this one. We're going to see pits from everyone, and it is going to be a race off of pit road. The cars to look at are the number 4 of Haynes, the number 6 of Niegels, and the number 98 of Wise. Those were the top 3 on the entrance. Yeah, we got 30 laps to go, Luke. I mean, we asked for a caution. We got one early. We got one before we thought we'd even see too much racing. But I'm not complaining, as Cody Niegels is going to win the race off pit road, followed by Haynes, Caswell, Wise, and the 03 of Kenny McCullough. So, mainly clean pits. It's not really going to matter, though, if it's a clean pit or not, as long as the drivers don't hurt their cars too much. Because we are under caution, they won't be losing the pack. We are going to see a restart. I'm a fan of the green flag pits, just because, it's a lot more strategy involved. What about you, Luke?
You know, you have to wonder here, going on 12 laps to go here, they're going to be starting to reach that awkward point in the race here where they're going to have to start trying to plan out their decisions here on what they're going to do regarding their fuel economy and the tire wear, especially going late. These tires are going to really start to play into this race and be a factor. I don't think it's going to be as much as it was in the 87s, but it's still going to come into consideration here, especially as we approach the back half of the race. But still plenty of laps to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a good race. We have 30 laps almost in this one still. And it's going to be a a very interesting one, as I think every car is going to stay in this one. It is a little interesting to see Corvette, Rally, and Everhart still in the pits, though. Hopefully they can, you know, do a little bit of a Tom Cruise pull out of the pits to stay on the lead lap here. I'm blanking on his name. Cole Trickle. There we go.
There it was.
A little bit of a Days of Thunder reference that I completely botched, but it is what it is. We're gonna see if they can get out on the lead lap and keep themselves in a good spot in this one. As Neagles and the rest of the crew come around to yeah, and they're all getting out except for the 17 of Rally still in there. But you know, even if it's just Rally, I wouldn't be too concerned if I was him, just because he will get that lucky dog being the only guy a lap down. So that is what it is. And he does get out in front of some of the cars. I think they're gonna... Yeah, they're gonna let him back on the lead lap. They're gonna say he got out in front. You know, keep every car in the lead lap. Nobody wants the race to finish this early, and I think it's the right thing to do. So, you know, just what you want to see. 17 cars still in this race with about 37 to go.
A lot of front runners up here as we get ready to go green here. The number 333 of Tanner Kassinger. I know we got the interview on him earlier in this race. Jack Long, his teammate, going to be starting right next to him. They're actually going to take that third row as a team here. What do you think their plan is going to be going green here? Do you think one of them is going to take off a little in front, maybe open up that back half for the other one to start drafting with them? Or do you think they're going to stick out side by side and just try to ride it out together?
Yeah, I think when they're running 5 and 6 like this, they're naturally going to be given positions to find each other in these next coming 5, 10, even 20 laps to come. So I think they're just going to, you know, draft with the guys in front of them for now. I don't think they're going to try specifically to get next to each other on this lap. I think they're going to let it happen naturally.
And just taking a look at our chat here, Mike Ward, we actually do not have the shotgun thing set up just yet. We were planning on taking a look into that after the races here tonight, hopefully getting that set up here for the next couple races we do as the pace car is in and we get ready to go green here with 13 laps out of 40.
Cody Neagles is going to get the restart on this one as he opted the outside, I think. Interesting decision. I like it. You don't see it much in these races, as much as you'd like to see it, just because it's more of a team decision. But he's going to take the green here as he goes up through the gears right now, and we are green once again at Talladega after our first caution. Josh Wise is following Haynes back in P3.
Oh, my!
How about... that's going to be either a penalty or... That's going to be something. They probably make him go back to the back because that was definitely a jump start. I don't know. He came out of he came out of the woodworks. Yeah, and as he's dropping back to the back, they've informed him, you know, we're not going to penalize if you just get back to the back.
It's going to be the number 90 and Daniel Everhart III.
This isn't you know, this isn't Kyle Busch in that one race. I forget what that was when he tried that, but you know, that's not what's going on here, but he's going to drop to the back. I think he'll be fine, though. I think, you know, him and Jones are going to get a little bit of drafting going and stay with the pack, hopefully. But Cody Neagle's still out front. Haynes to follow, Caswell, Wise, then Kassinger. Kassinger and Long still 5 and 6 in this one. We get a little bit of a bump on P4s and 5. That's going to be Kassinger and Wise, but they're going to keep it clean. Single file through the first 4, then we have about double file for the rest of the way. As they go through turn 2 here. I do want to point out that Scott has made it into P7. We haven't talked about him much at all. That's going to be William Scott, who actually started P18, very back of the pack. He's made his way up 11 spots here tonight, and it's really impressive. That's probably my favorite statistic to follow, just the biggest movers as it concerns, you know, who can go up positions as well as drop down positions here. He's got some good draft going. He's following around the 01 car of Michael Wingo as he hits the outside, surprisingly. I do like that
throttle
move.
discipline.
Yeah, and you want to get any bumping going, get him stuffed up. So it is impressive, but he is peeking his head out a little more than you'd expect on that bottom.
A little bit of movement by that outside line.
Outside line gaining people. The 19 looking good. That's Garrett Caswell. And how about that third line creeping up a little bit?
Trying to get a run going.
If you had to take a guess, Luke, who do you think is part of that third line? Who likes making that line by themselves and getting things going? I'll give you a hint here. It's one of our race owners.
That's right. It's going to be one of the McCulloughs. I'm going to take my guess here and say it's going to be one of the McCulloughs.
Yeah, I mean, I gave you a couple hands, helped you out a little bit, but you got there, and you know they do love making things happen that you wouldn't expect. And that top line has worked wonders for him here in the past. I think both of them are on that. I can't really tell if that's the one car of Joshua McCullough up front, but I would assume it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
a little bit of
they've made
contact.
A little bit of bumping between the 2s and 3s on the lines.
I mean, Michael
The
Wingo.
3 line though is looking good, but how about the number 5 car of Hunter Hastings? He's on that 3rd line, but he just can't seem to get enough speed to catch up to him. He's all the way down on the throttle, maybe catching a little bit. I think one more car up there in that top line is the line to beat, as he is gaining on him now, though.
It's that flex seal. It's going to be the number 5. He's making his way up to that lead group, maybe to get that outside line a push. It's going to be Hunter Hastings.
Yeah, we're 3x3x3 all the way through, and it's a beautiful sight to see. We haven't seen much 3-wide racing in these the truck races we did a couple days ago, so it really is refreshing. But that lead pack that we're going to keep an eye on is that inside line of Caswell and Eagles, and I think that is Haynes down there below them.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's impressive. It really is. Everyone, you know, doing what they can, keeping themselves straight. Caswell does get around Eagles at some point, and how about a car dropping back that's going to
be William Scott Jr.
William Scott,
It's
not
below
what
the
you
yellow.
want to see. I think he might have gotten bumped low and just a little afraid to get back in, but it's the right move. It's a respectable move, staying at the bottom until you're 100% clear, and I think he's going to be able to catch into the draft of, what is it, the one car of McCullough.
That's going to be Joshua McCullough, I believe.
I think he's going to catch it enough just to stay in that lead pack, hopefully. It's all you can do is hope. Those McCulloughs, that third line died off a little bit. They, I want to say they probably sensed a little bit of dangerous racing up there, and, you know, they calmed down a little bit, and they're, you know, back where they are probably comfortable being for now, with still 23 to go in this race. And Scott has caught the pack. We're going to take a look back at the leaders as Jones throws a little bit of a block. That's going to be Dylan C. Jones. He made his way to the front fast, in a hurry. And Eagles on that second line. We haven't seen that much in the past couple of races. He's sworn by that inside line, but Eagles on the second line is going to technically be our race leader right now as Jones gets the pass on.
Oh, a bit of an awkward bump.
19 gets a little bit
it's
loose,
getting
and they're all
shifty.
getting a little bit loose.
Whoa.
They're shaking around, but I think they're going to sort it out. We're going to stay green with no actual accidents happening there. How about the 90 of Eberhardt? He had some bad luck in the last race. He was flipped upside down. He's recovered, and he's gotten himself into P4 in this one, which is an impressive feat, being as he started P13.
Well, it's a nice sight to see these drivers recovering after kind of having a bit of a struggle in that first race. They're going to get a little bit shifty here. That second and third line kind of dying off of it. That inside line just holding true. That middle line's going to get a bit of a run here, though.
Yeah, they're peeking out a couple cars in the outside line, trying to see if they can make that happen again. I think the strategy here is going to be trying to get that outside line going and then see if you can peek in on, maybe force yourself in on that second line, because I feel like that third line gets speed until, you know, they don't. But for now, Eagles is your race leader on that second line. If he gets clear, yeah, he is going to drop. I know he likes that bottom line. Cassinger, though, how about Cassinger? He's up in P2 on that outside line. Yeah, and I do like this camera. We do see the drone cam with Cassinger and Eagles both out front. Cassinger taking his first lead of the race. That's good to see.
Look at that outside line.
And he drops down. I do like that move. He's now being pushed by Cody Neagles, which is going to be it's going to benefit him in the long run. I really think it is. But as it stands, how about Eberhardt taking the lead for a second there? Cassinger and Eberhardt, two drivers that I am just really gunning for here. I do want to see them win. we've seen a lot of success out of the McCulloughs, Neagle, a lot of those guys lately. I would love to see Eberhard, Cassinger, any of those other guys up front right now in victory
Little bit of
lane. And a little bit of
contact.
a bump by Cassinger into Eberhard, and he got a little bit loose, and Eberhard's going to fade off of that. I'm sure he's not thrilled about that, as he was forced onto that third line almost. Reaper Society, good pushes by Neagles. And we're inside a car right now.
Just goes to
it's a
show how
beautiful
close these
sight.
cars get together.
Yeah, they really do. They do a lot of bumping, they do a lot of pushing, they do a lot of fighting. It's all in the name of the sport, though, as, Eberhard, I'm confident, is going to be able to find his way back into that lead pack as he's falling back to 8th. He's got a good car, he's got a couple good runs, he knows what he's doing out there, it's no secret. And actually, I want to take a look and see, by way of iRating, our strongest driver tonight is none other than Dawson Wise, who's been not noticed, and I think that is something I would like to point out because he's made his way back into the front. He just got his lead back for the first time in
I
some
hate to
15
correct you here,
laps.
Kevin, but Dylan Jones is going to have almost double the I rating of the man you just mentioned. Has almost a 5,000 I rating.
I'm sorry, I meant safety rating. I don't know why I said iRating. Safety rating. Dawson Wise is looking the best, but as far as iRating goes, Dylan Jones is up there, but
Statistically, the favorite.
and
the
the
number
3
3!
gets turned. The 3
It's
gets
Kenny
turned,
McCullough.
and the caution's out, and I think most cars cleared. He comes into the inside of the line a little bit. Bad break for Kenny. As we see our second caution, I do want to see how that happened. I don't know if that was just, both of them. One went out, one went in. Kenny goes up to make a third line. Oh, and that's just unfortunate. The guy on the second line just comes up into him a little bit. That's going to be the 0-1 of Michael Wingo. I don't think Kenny's going to be too thrilled about that. What about you, Luke?
Definitely not. As we look here, I think I see a little bit of a dent in that rear right bumper quarter panel on Kenny McCullough's car.
I don't recall any damage from Kenny on that first wreck, so maybe he can use a little bit of a fast repair here with about 17 to go, 18 to go. But he's rolling. He's on the lead lap, excuse me. But yeah, not what you want to see. Sean Corbett back there too. I think he lost some time trying to get clear of it. But yeah, just unfortunate. But that's what happens. You try to make that third line, and like I said earlier, high risk, high reward, and it didn't pay off this time. But I'm confident Kenny's going to be able to stay in the mix in this one. He got P2 in the last race. He's been having a good night so far, as we're probably going to see. Now this is when things get a little interesting, because we're probably going to see
And wait,
everyone coming
Tanner
to pits here.
Cassinger gets a little bit of contact here, apparently. We're going to have to go back and take a look at that.
Take a look, see what happened to Cassinger. As we've been alerted that he had some contact with somebody or something, I want to say.
Regarding his exit of the pit.
It might be a little love tap.
I think it was right there near the end. Caution comes out right about there.
Yeah, and he probably let off a little bit more than Cody Neagles was expecting, but as long as all those leaders stay safe, that's all you really want to see. But I will say we expect pits here, but I'm not sure what the pit window's looking like. As most of these cars are going to stay out, actually, I think. Luke, you would have a better idea of what just happened there. Did most of the cars stay out, and then we saw pits from McCullough and Scott and Vondell, or how did that one go?
It appears right now we have in the pits Kenny McCullough and William Scott Jr. It appears that the majority of the other drivers stayed out, apart from the ones that got into that wreck. I think we have a couple more that stayed out. We got there in the back. Is that Mark Vondell? Mark Vondell and Sean Corbett also entering the pits, along with Jack Long as well. I know we saw him up there in that lead pack as well. So it's like a good split of the drivers taking a pit here. Maybe a good little fourth of the drivers out here. Maybe starting to think, with 17 to go here, you got to start wondering in a 40-lap race, what are you thinking here going into the second half of the race as we start to approach 16 laps to go? Yeah,
and I'm not quite sure what the pit window is here. on these Xfinity cars. I did just find out that we do have 75% fuel. I thought it was 50. So I think these drivers are maybe thinking run it to the end on fuel. I wasn't quite sure. I know with the trucks, it's a 2-pit race with 40 laps, but I think as far as this goes, we would have expected to see more pits if they needed it. I think most of these drivers aren't going to be able to make it with 17 to go here, so that's a good sight to see. We got Cassinger, Wise, Neagles, McCullough, and Jones in your top 5, and it's going to stay that way all the way to the green, most likely. Yeah, and the pit's going to stay empty. Cassinger just preserving tires as much as he can, kind of peeking down there under the apron, but nothing goes as far as leader pits.
Sorry, we do have one entering the pits here. It's going to be the who do we got there? Is that Sean?
It's going to be Mark Vondel, I think, maybe?
Yep, it's going to be Mark Vondel.
Going to be Vondel. He's going to take one. He's on the lead lap still, so technically allowed. Not, what you usually see as far as pits go on the second time by, I think. But I think that's a good move. Him and Kenny are going to take their pits, and they're going to stay out on the lead lap.
Yep, and Kenny's coming into the pits as well.
Yeah, I think that first time by where I thought the pits would have been taken, I think they were actually closed. That's my apologies. Technically, you could let Kenny in if you want to say that, he can't make it around another time, but I think he did, and I think that's what we're seeing, and I think every driver out of these 17 drivers is going to stay on the lead lap here, which is what you want to see as Vondel, Scott, and McCullough go up through the gears to try to catch the pack under caution.
You would be correct here. All of our cars still on the lead lap here.
Yeah, and I love seeing that. We only have 16 laps left in this one, and it is still anybody's race. We saw the McCulloughs go from, I want to say, like P15 to like P3 on that third line. But something you got to look at now, they are mixed up, as Joshua's still in the top 4.
Quite separated after that previous wreck. Poor Kenny McCullough, just an unfortunate turn of events previously, just gets kind of spun out back there. And it really does cause a bit of separation. You got to wonder, is it going to be more of a conservative race here for Joshua now than that front pack maybe waiting for Kenny to catch up? Or do you think he's going to still go full throttle here and just hope that that his teammate Kenny catches up to him? You got to wonder with the pace car going in.
Those McCulloughs stay together like water on rice, so I wouldn't be surprised to even see Joshua, maybe fall back a little bit, see what can happen. But the pace car is in. It's going to be Cassinger's lead as we come towards the flag in the restart zone. It's going to be a good 15 laps of racing left in front of us, and I am excited to see it as we are going green up through the gears as the 333 car of Tanner Cassinger, followed by Cody Neagles, Wise, and Jones, I want to say, are the top 4. The inside line is looking good. Yeah, and that's Dawson Wise, who's our highest safety rating, so I feel pretty safe being around him. What do you think?
I'd have to agree with you.
And that outside line led by Neagles now, he made a move to it. Not what you really expect based off what we've seen in the last couple races, but definitely something you like to see. As, he can make any line work. That outside line getting a lot of speed. Cassinger, though, on the inside through the turns, they're getting some good pushes. It's going to be the 90 of Eberhardt on the inside line giving some good pushes.
They're getting close to each other.
They're getting very tight. That inside line of Cassinger, that's the second time he's done that. He's come up a little bit. And he probably scaring the high hell out of Cody Neagles going up there.
An inside line push getting a bit shaky. Looks like Tanner Cassinger spread that too. He's going to slide to the outside. Line.
Yeah, they got real shaky, real bumpy. I don't know if that was the preferred line, but how about
3 wide?
Jones? They're 3 wide. And a lot of bumping, and he forces himself back in. 5 gets stranded, and 333 also gets stranded. That's going to be Hastings and Cassinger. They both find their way back in. Cassinger gets stranded on the third line. That's not what you like to see for him, but it was a smart move as they got all stuffed up a little bit there.
Boy, what a save by the group, though, collectively.
Yeah, an impressive save. These MMS drivers, they know how to keep it clean. But how about the 21 now under the apron? That's going to be
William Scott.
That's going to be William Scott. He's going to be Not quite sure what that was, but that outside line trying to make something happen again. I'm quite positive that the 03 of McCullough is going to be part of that.
Look at the teammates running back here. Jack Long and Tanner Cassinger. Oh, we got contact!
Oh, and we have a wreck. And
wait.
We're still green through
They
this
seem to hold it together.
They were able to hold that together.
Holy cow. What a save.
Out now by 4 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But the wreck was, I want to say, Von Dell into the back of somebody. I'm not quite positive. But Rally definitely caught in that one, as he is now 5 seconds back and falling. Not what you want to see for if you're him or if you're his team. But we stay green. And how about Everhart up to the lead here? He started P13. He's been peeling through this entire race after a bad break in the first race. He's in P2 now as Jones, Dylan C. Jones, another car that we've been keeping our eyes on. And look who's still in P5. He seems to avoid everything. He knows his way around this track, and he knows his way around these cars. It's Cody Neagles. Yeah, he peeks to the inside a little bit, wondering if those lead cars are going to try the high line, try the inside line. He's not quite sure, but it seems they're going to take the single file inside line. Or if that second line gets a run, you know who to pay attention to.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's going to be
big push by Cody Neagles.
Be the 90 car of Everhart. Yeah, and he gets a huge push coming through the tri-oval. And Neagles goes to the third line, not what I expected. But these cars are spread out. Oh, and there's a caution we missed. Some wrecking in the back.
It's Jared Haynes.
Oh no, not what you want to see. Oh no. Collects 3 of them at least.
No.
And they come back up and collects another. Oh, not what you want to see here.
Oh no, it's Joshua McCullough.
Joshua McCullough. If he can keep it running though, I want to say that might benefit him.
And he got up in the air a little bit.
That's not a good sight.
Oh
no. Yeah, huge hit for him as he collects.
Oh my. Not what you like to see here.
Let's take a look at our leaderboard, see who's in the trouble. Everyone's still rolling. That's a good sign to see, but Rally in it, Haynes in it, McCullough in it, Scott in it, Von Dell. Not looking good for any of them. Corbett, I think he had a little bit of damage, but how about the transfer for one Kenny McCullough? He's looking at P6 right now. I think we are seeing some pits. It's going to be a hell of a transfer for him. If he can hold on to that. I don't know if he's staying out or not.
As we look to the pits here to see who comes in after that caution flag comes out.
Yeah, and I think the pits are still technically closed as they're going to go around the outside still. And I think the rule as it stands in MMS is if you can't get it around another lap, you can go into the pits. You might get maybe a penalty. I'm not quite sure how that goes, but you want to see these cars stay out.
Nope, we got cars in the pits.
It's open, but yeah, we're going to see at least 4 go in, 5 go in, 6 go in. And
majority in there.
I assume it's open, and the rest of the cars just think they can make it to the end. These cautions, we have 3 cautions tonight. That's 3 more than we had on either of these other races that we've seen other than the 87s.
And Daniel Everhart, some contact. I hate to sorry to cut you off back there, Kevin, but Daniel Everhart appears to have some
because
contact.
he's been having a good run. Let's go back a little bit and see what happened with him.
Seems maybe it might have been near the end of the altercation. Yeah, a little bit of bumping there near the end. Just a bit of a UI issue on our side. Looks like he stayed clean here, and he's actually going to stay running in P1.
He's going to have a good shot at this thing. I did see he lost a couple positions. I think he gained them back. Just, you know, you got to wonder if it's fuel/tire saving here. You know, a lot of these cars are just trying to keep their tires as clean as they can here. It's about 10 to go. We'll probably see 8 or 9 to go when the flag comes back out. And I think my chair just broke, so you're going to have to give me a minute.
Oh, and as they come across this back straightaway, you do have to wonder, with 10 to go here, actually approaching 9 to go, what are they going to do when it comes to the fuel economy here? Some of them wanting to stay out here, you got to wonder, is that tire wear going to play a good factor here?
All right, I am back, and yeah, I heard you, and I would have to agree. You know, we saw the pits happen with just 7 to go in the 87s, and the guys who did pit were benefited just because of the tires. Now these are no 87s, but the tires still play a huge factor in these. And another thing that you're gonna have to worry about is these cars that did pit getting stuffed up behind the cars that didn't, because they're gonna want to get around them, and when they try to get around them, that's when things are gonna happen.
Well, without a doubt, it's going to be a really, really shaky back half of this race.
Yeah, and the 18 of Dylan C. Jones is gonna lead us right now. I don't know if that's I think it's gonna be Eberhardt, as he just opted to take the outside. I'm not sure who's actually gonna get the restart command, but one of them, it's going to be a fun front row between the two of them. Two drivers that I was saying earlier would be great to see either of them win. And how about Cassinger? You know, he had some problems. He got stranded out. He's back in our top 10. And guess who he's next to, Luke?
Oh, it's going to probably be his teammate. If I had to take a guess here, it's going to be Jack Long rocking that.
It is. They found
almost
each other
matching
again, and that's what you
schemes
got to
here.
do. Guess who else found each other?
Oh, it's going to be the McCulloughs as well. A lot of, like I said, a lot of team racing here. They're all going to be together, paired up with their teammates now. It's going to be interesting, and especially as we approach 8 to go here. What will they do to get themselves in a money position?
Everyone finding who they want to finish this race with. Another couple standouts that I want to mention, you know. We got Vondell and Haynes. I know they run together a lot. They're back in the back together, but not out of it. Ron Morris is back with them. Both some veterans of the MMS League, I think. And looking towards your front, you got, I think it's going to be Niegels pushing on Eberhardt on that outside line. So that, I think, honestly, that's going to be the line to look at, because those are all some very fast drivers all race, just been dominating. But top 5 here is what we're looking at for the money.
You know, Kevin, I know you ask me every race, but I feel like I don't always get to flip it back on you. Any big schemes out here? Any paint schemes that are really standing out to you tonight?
Yeah, and you know, I'm a sucker for the matching schemes, so the Cassinger and Long cars, they're looking great. But I'm going to have to agree with you. My top scheme of this race is going to have to be the fire and checkers from one, I want to say, what was it, the 45 of Sean Corbett?
Yep, that's going to be Sean Corbett.
Yeah, I think that's going to have to be my favorite as well. It's just a great looking scheme. It's flashy, it pops. We know who it is when we see it. And that's going to be my favorite as the pace car does come in. We're going green this time by. It's going to be the jump for Jones. They're minding their 65 speed limit until we get to the restart zone. Now it's anybody's decision. And here we go, going green for 8 more laps as they're moving up through the gears. We are green at Talladega as Jones takes a huge jump out in front. Hastings comes with them. Eberhardt just completely stranded on that outside line, it seems.
My.
Nobody with them.
Oh, and he's fighting for the inside.
Forces his way in. Jones goes to the top.
Wow.
It's honestly gonna benefit Hastings, I think, as he's gonna get the lead now on that inside line. Followed by none other than Cody Niegels.
Now Eberhardt having a teammate to play with on that outside line, giving someone for him to push.
And McCullough is still together, so is Cassinger and Long. Those are 2 teams to watch for to make huge runs near this finish. The 5 car of Hastings is going to lead us right now, though. And I would think 3 back, that's going to be the 19 of Caswell on the inside. Or no, that's him on the outside, and that's going to be Wise on the inside. Oh, and a 3rd line forms. That seems orchestrated.
Oh, and a little bit of contact.
And a lot of bit of contact. And at least one's going to get wiped out. It's going to collect a couple
Sean
more.
Corbett as well.
Including Corbett. And we have about 4 cars in this one, and that's going to be another caution. With 7 to go here. Not what you want to see for some of these drivers. Let's take a look at how this one happened. That's the 03 of McCullough getting involved again. He gets out of it, though.
Looks like it's going to be the number 17 and Derek Rowley causing that. It's like him and, who was that? Joshua McCullough, just a little bit of a disagreement here on which line he's just going to take. It looks like the number 17 is just going to come back down into that inside line on Joshua McCullough, forcing him down below the apron. And
I think that's Kenny McCullough in the 03, but nonetheless, I think it's one of those situations where one comes down a little bit, one comes up a little bit. They just hit each other. Then I think Derek gets a little bit lower than he wanted to once again. You know, what goes up must come down type of thing. But we're gonna see Hastings still out here in the lead. You know, one of the McCullows, the 03 is looking good. Whereas the one of Josh not looking too hot. But
P15.
Cassinger and Long have lost each other a little bit, I want to say. But how about Caswell making his way to the front again, as well as Eberhardt? They're both in great positions to be in the money here. They're on the line. Wingo looking good again. He had a, and he had his ups and downs in our last race, but overall I think he had a good finish. I think he might have even gotten P5. I'm not 100% though. Don't quote me on that.
Sean Corbett taking the pit here. He got a lot of contact in that wreck, unfortunately. Looks like he received the back end of that wreck.
Yeah, not what you want to see if you're Corbett. Not what you want to see if you're fans of the nice schemes. Because I just have to keep bringing that up. It was a beautiful scheme, and I'm not quite sure if he has that fast repair. I'm not quite sure if he'll be able to stay on the lead lap. But impressive that all these drivers have been able to stay on the lead lap, as he's still in the pits, as the number 5 of Hastings is coming around.
You more going to the pits, it seems.
Yeah, he was forced into the pits. He went in a little early. Not quite sure if there's going to be a penalty on that, but he went in with damage, so that's expected. Here come a few more cars with probably minor damage, probably just trying to get their tires refreshed, see if they can make a huge run with us probably going to like 3 to go.
This is interesting here. Look, this is going to be Jack Long taking his pit here with his teammate Cassinger still staying out there. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Jack Long did get a little stranded on that restart. We had about 3 laps of clean racing. We had him fall back to about P12, P13, whereas Cassinger had held on to the 8th spot. So not surprised to see him start doing his own thing. It's a game of survival out here at Talladega. So we are going to see Corbett go down a lap. I think not what you want to see. He might get the waiver on. He might get a lucky dog here later on in this one or something, but as of now, it's not a good look for the 45 car.
As we jump back to our leaders here, it's going to be Hunter Hastings taking the lead here, followed up by Dylan Jones, Cody Neagles, Dawson Wise, Garrett Caldwell, Daniel Eberhardt in your top 6, your first 3 rows.
Yeah, and I'd like to mention we've been with MMS for 3 races now. Very new to this, very new to MMS as well as broadcasting in general. But it seems these past 3 races, we've been talking to a lot of the same guys. So do you want to keep talking to those guys, Luke? Or would you like to see some new names come into the booth?
As much as I love to hear from the guys we've had in here previously, I love talking to every single one of them, and all very friendly and very appreciative. It would be nice to get a couple of new friendly faces in here. Kind of rooting for some underdogs here to maybe pull through for a win here. I know Eberhardt didn't quite get the finish he wanted last race. I'm kind of wanting to see maybe a little more out of him tonight. I know the McCulloughs didn't exactly get the finish they wanted just this past race, only finishing in P2. Maybe they're trying to change things up tonight. Maybe, get them back up into that P1 finish position. But I guess only time will tell here as we approach 4 to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's right, but the ticker's saying Sean Corbett's still in the pits. Just unfortunate. I think he used his fast repair earlier, and he is just stuck with seeing what the old duct tape and repair crew can do to get this one back at least on the track and a finish, but I think his night is about over. Just
taking a look
unfortunate.
here, it seems he is no longer on the track with us. Unfortunately, it seems he has packed it up.
It happens. It happens. It had to be somebody. I feel like here at Talladega, it was us. It was our fault. Saying that we had all cars in the lead lap, all cars clean, but good outing for him. He had some laps up front. He made it so we're fortunate enough to see such a beautiful scheme. But,
indeed. I couldn't.
I'm sure he'll be back. I'm sure this isn't the last of Sean Corbett as far as MMS money racing goes.
Without a doubt.
But how about our leaders? We have Hastings up front, who's had a good outing so far. Jones, Neagles, who's had a good outing in just about every damn race we've ever seen. Wise and Caswell, that's going to be our top 5.
Yeah, strong top 5 as we approach 3 to go here when we go green. It's going to be really, really interesting. I know I'm at least expecting to see that third line form. I don't want to say immediately, but a part of me does want to say I feel like it's going to form almost immediately with 3 to go. These guys are really going to want to start testing that outside line and seeing what'll work here because there's not much time left to go. They're all wanting to race for that money position here.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I would say it's anybody's race still. I mean, I feel like I've been a broken record saying that over and over again, but as we get these cautions, it really just mixes things up every single time. We have new leaders every single time, and we're gonna have about 3 laps to go. But I wouldn't even be surprised to see us go to an overtime tonight.
You never know with the way these drivers have been racing tonight. They've been driving really, really aggressive and just really trying to get that money spot. I do believe the buy-in for this race, yeah, it is going to be double what our previous race on those 87s were. So double the buy-in, double the payout here as we get ready to go green.
Hopefully double the ambition as the pace car comes in.
3 to go.
And the launch is going to be decided by the number 5 of Hastings, and we're going to see what can happen here with the 3 laps at the 2.6-mile track.
So we get the Geico restart and going green here. Hunter Hastings making quite the run.
Up through the gears they go. He's up by about a car length. That's his decision on where he wants to be. I think he's going to like this inside, though, with Cody Niegels and the 19 of Caswell.
And really stretching out that third gear there as they approach turn number 2.
Yeah, and that inside line is looking dominant as we go through the backstretch for the first time since the restart. But that outside line, they're gonna get their shit figured out, and we're gonna see them come up and maybe catch and pass the Flex Seal car of Hunter Hastings. It's gonna be the 18 of Jones leading it, followed by Wise and Dawson Wise. He's had a great race so far. I feel like that's been overlooked a little bit, but he's kept himself up in the mix all race. She's going to give some good pushes, get a little bit loose, get a little bit shooken up there. Keeping it straight, though, it happens. As the 5 and the 6 of Hastings and Niegels keeping good speed. Let's go back to our leaders with 2 to go now. And 2 to go, this one's led by Jones still. Hastings in 2nd, Wise in 3rd, Niegels in 4th, and Eberhardt back in 5th. And we're about 2 by 2. Maybe 1 or 2 cars peeking up to that 3rd line, trying to see if something can happen. And here they come. They're all like half trying, it seems, but 2 of them commit to it. And they settle back down to 1. It's going to be a 2 by 2 race, at least until this white flag, I think, Luke. And Jones is going to be our leader. He's cleared by about 3/4 of a car length. But Hastings is getting a good run into the turn, as you see very often here at Talladega. Niegels follows. And here we go. This time once we go through the tri-ovals and to the line, it's going to be the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Talladega Super Speedway, led by Hastings and Niegels on the inside line. The 18 of Jones, though, is looking to make something happen. The 98 of Wise also looking to make something happen. We're side by side between Hastings and Jones. Niegels giving great pushes, though, as he's able to transfer up to the 2nd place. If they can clear 2, yeah, Niegels is going to make the move to the outside. We're side by side with Hastings and Niegels. Not what you expected. Jones kind of lets it happen, and we're getting wrecks.
Oh!
There's a lot of wrecks happening.
It's all
and
over.
Niegels is going to stay out front. It's going to be a 3-car race. Let's take a look at Niegels, as it's going to be the 19, the 5, and the 6. The whole field is doing the 76 now in this one.
And it's
going to be a 5-car race. They're still bumping. They're pushing. Niegels gets bumped aside. He seems to have it cleared as they go into the tri-oval. They go to the Geico restart zone. It's single-filed back out. Niegels is looking fast. He's followed by Hastings, Morris, Rowley, and Caswell.
It's Cody
and he's going to
Niegels.
take this one. Cody Niegels finally gets the win he's been looking for the past few days. Hunter Hastings, Ron Morris makes a transfer. Rowley makes a transfer. Caswell, they're all going to get in the money. Not what you expected here, as half the field is taken out, Luke.
And what an exciting finish to an Xfinity race at Talladega. You couldn't have drew it up any more. I mean, just so entertaining. Before we go back to all those wrecks, just what an exciting finish for Cody Niegels. I know he's really been looking for this win, and I know it's going to be just absolute celebration and excitement down in the pit road. As we look back at what caused that and what caused the crashes back there, it's going to be Daniel Eberhardt. Seems that initiated the crash here. Oh, and just the accordion effect. Oh no.
They get stuffed up on that inside line.
My.
The outside line, and we get about 10 feet of air. 10 feet
Holy
of,
shit.
vertical from the 90 car of Eberhardt.
Oh my.
And what a finish for these drivers.
Unfortunately,
and,
Daniel Cassinger getting caught up in that as well.
Both races we saw tonight absolutely unbelievable.
So unfortunate. Oh,
let's take a look at our
as well getting caught into that.
Let's take a look at our unofficial results by the MMS crew, and I know some drivers got in there that we weren't even talking about coming to the finish. Cody Neagles is going to take the win. Hunter Hastings is going to get P2. And how about Ron Morris getting up there? Let's take one more look at the replay before we get into these driver introductions and see where the hell he even came from. The 76 car.
Let's go and take a look here. As we go back here. Taking a look right around that wreckage time. Oh my. And he's going to... And you know what, as a matter of fact, let's go and hop on board here and take a look. Just in that roll cage bar of what that looked like going through those last few turns.
Right behind the jack shack, can't see anything if you're the driver. You're just, hoping your spotter can tell you something. It's
looking at his view, and it just opens up.
He gets a little bit of a hold of this jack shack, but nothing he can do about that. It just opened up, it cleared. The seas parted, and he was able to get into a podium finish. Just unbelievable. And I think we need to get Ron Morris in here first for our post-race interviews.
Couldn't agree with you more, Kevin. Let's get him in here.
Hey, Ron, guys in the booth, can you hear me? Hey, Ron, guys in the booth, you got me?
Yeah, man, I got you.
I mean, how about that finish? We just looked at the onboard view. It was like the seas parted, and, God gave you a gift to get into that podium finish. How did that finish happen?
Oh, man, yeah, it's a little bit of luck there. Me and Jared was up there on the outside lane, and we were making a little bit of ground there, and looked like he got kind of got run up into from the middle lane. Got him sideways, and I just didn't lift. I just had to keep going.
Yeah,
On the way to get there, and then I got scared a little bit when Raleigh came down under me, and he got into Hunter a little bit, but hey, we just pulled it out, got a third place. Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, very Days of Thunder-esque finish for your 76 car, I think, and it was a great race altogether. You have any final thoughts on how that one went?
Nah, yeah, it was a fun race, man. A lot of good, clean racing. I mean, we had a couple cautions, but some real good racing, man. I love these Xfinity cars. These are my favorite cars all. So, yeah, man, just feels good to be there at the end. Always feels good to get on the podium. So,
yeah, it was a good race and a good finish. Any shout-outs you'd like to give before we get rid of you?
McCullough Motorsports on my team. Kenny for putting these on. You guys, man, I hadn't seen any of your broadcasts, but I'll be watching this one tomorrow. And I watched the 87. I didn't get to race that. I had some stuff going on. But give me something to watch at lunchtime tomorrow. So yeah, look forward to seeing you guys broadcast, man. I appreciate you guys stepping in and doing that.
Yeah, I thank you too. And congratulations on the third place finish, Ron.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Have a good night.
You do.
You as well.
All right, and I think we're going to get our second place finisher, Hunter Hastings, in now, as he followed Cody to the promised land, it seemed, as he was also fortunate to get out of that wreck. Hunter, guys in the booth, you got a read on me?
Yes, sir.
How about that finish? I mean, it seemed like 3/4 of the field cleared out, and you guys were fighting for it at the end. You followed Cody to the promised land, and you got yourself a second place finish. What do you think?
I know I was in the lead. Cody went to the top, and I got absolutely killed from the back, and I got back up there, and I was going to try to pass Cody for the lead. Then I got killed again. I was surprised I came home second.
Yeah, it was tight race, and it was shaping out to be a side-by-side finish, and then just the whole field seemed to go to hell, and you were able to clear it and keep yourself in second.
Yeah, whoever was pushing Garrett was getting pushed like 2 cars behind too, which caused all that. I don't know if they'll put blame on anybody or not, or that'd be a racing incident.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some fingers pointed after this one, but all in all, a good finish for you and Cody and the rest of the guys there. It was like a 5 or 6 car pack. So congratulations to you. Is there anybody you would like to shout out before we get rid of you?
Just James Wagner Welding.
Yeah, there we go. James Wagner Welding.
Thank y'all for broadcasting this.
Hey, thank you for racing and giving us a show. It was a very fun night of 2 races, and we couldn't have asked for more action. So
extremely exciting.
Congratulations on the second place finish, and thanks.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
You too. And lastly, we're going to get our race winner, Cody Neagles. Hey, Cody, you got us
Yeah, I got you.
And how about that finish? You know, the past couple nights, it's like deja vu. We've been bringing you in here. I think every race that you've raced with us, we've had to drag you in here because of a good finish, but you finally got the checkered after some, mixed emotions, I'm sure, as some cars cleared out some other cars there at the end. But how do you feel about that finish?
A little bit of redemption. Past couple races you guys have broadcasted, I feel like I've been in the catbird seat, and runs just don't go my way at the line. I mean, the first one I was just helping my teammate Landon, making sure he got a better cash spot, and he ended up getting me at the line. But I mean, the other one, the run wasn't there at the end for me. Just wasn't quite
Yeah,
able to close it, and then this one I was able to.
yeah, and how about you going up to that second line there at the end, making a beautiful pass on Hunter Hastings, getting you in the lead? You think you had it at the line on Hunter if it wasn't for the wrecks that transpired?
Yeah, I think when I made the move, it voided anyone being behind him, and Dylan had a little bit of damage, and I think he was going to be a better pusher than a leader. I don't know quite what that damage was doing to him, but it did look like it might have been slowing him down just a little bit, which I think is what allowed me to clear. But it seemed like he was able to push fine behind me, so if it stayed green, I mean, I would have appreciated it to stay green. I'd have just dropped back down probably, and then just did a drag race with Dylan, but hate to see Dylan didn't cash because he definitely deserved it. But yeah, a little bit of redemption for me.
Yeah, and it was a great race. All in all, I mean, 40 laps of you dominating, running up front. So congratulations on the win. Is there anybody you'd like to shout out before we get rid of you?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Thank McCullough Motorsports for putting the race on. Want to thank Nightmare Esports, Wagner's Welding, Icon Apparel, my beautiful fiance for allowing me to do this, and then special shout out to my dad for watching all these races and sitting home in recovery from a couple different surgeries he's had, and his health ain't been the best, but hopefully that's on the uptick now. So,
And we all hope for a speedy recovery.
thank you very much. I know he's out there watching it right now. I love you, Dad, and get to feeling better.
All right, thanks again, Cody, and huge congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And again, wishing a speedy recovery for Mr. Neagles here.
And how about that race? Look, I mean, both those races.
I mean,
Just
man, incredible.
packed, start to finish. You know, we were starting to think, 80 laps over 2 races of our first 2 MMS races, and we were like, when's the action going to come? These guys are too good, but, we got it tonight. We got more than we were hoping for tonight. Between the 87s and these cars, it was a great night. I'd like to thank, McCullough Motorsports. I'd like to thank everyone who raced, all, I think it was 15 and 18 drivers on between the 2 races. I want to thank everybody that watched, everybody that participated, made this happen. This was a blast. One of the most fun races we've ever had the privilege to watch between the 2 of them. So, thanks to everybody for coming, and I think that's going to about do it for Ninth Gear Broadcasting.